Notre Dame at Louisville. Notre Dame at Louisville. So Louisville was a team that a lot of people talked about in the offseason, talking about sleeper ACC team, that there's talent there. That the NIL situation is like really, really good at Louisville. I don't know if you knew that. They've, for whatever reason, they've got a really potent NIL situation going on, and they have been able to recruit some pretty good 4-star talent there over the last couple of years. I'm not saying it's, they're the Georgia of the ACC or something, obviously, but we saw this team kind of struggle against Georgia Tech, come back and win earlier this year. I think that's probably the game that most people have watched of Louisville this year, because I think it was the only game on that night. But Notre Dame has been in some extremely stressful and emotional situations over the last couple of weeks. And here we go again. They've got to travel to Louisville at night to face an undefeated team. Notre Dame's schedule is no joke. And here we go again. Are they going to be able to have the juice, the gas in the tank to be able to go do this again and go through another battle against an undefeated team here? What are your thoughts on this game? I'm looking at my list here. I started to write down Notre Dame and then I stopped writing. So what's your play on this game? As I pull up the numbers here, take us through what you found, and what's your thought?
Let me convince you here to finish writing out Notre Dame.
And I was going to go Notre Dame in the points. I remember now, but yes, please do.
Yeah, you can piggyback off of me. It's all right. It's all right.
I do. I do.
So yeah. So, when I look at Louisville, this is probably one of the worst 5-0 teams in the country, in my opinion. And you really can point to last week. As you mentioned, one of the few games we got to really watch of Louisville, or that most people paid attention to. But they really struggled with a pretty bad NC State team. It took a fourth quarter field goal for them to win that one. And so I think that they've really benefited from strength of schedule, to get them to this point. And, they're about to kind of step into some tougher ACC games. And I think it's going to be, a pretty bad little fall here, a little bit of a dip for Louisville. Credit to this point, that they're 5-0. But I think that all of the stats here you look at, I think you can kind of toss these out for the most part. They're kind of just middle of the pack in everything. I'm looking at, so opponent red zone conversion is 5th. That's pretty good, but I wonder how many of those plays were like missed field goals and things like that, that bring that number down, that percentage down to 54.55%. So I've got questions, all right, but I don't think that Louisville is that good. So for me, Notre Dame -6.5 is the play. I don't think, you mentioned, can Louisville handle another emotional game, another emotional win? I don't think it's going to be. I think that Notre Dame's going to come out to like a 14-0 lead after the first quarter, and they're going to coast. And I think that they're going to win this game handedly. And I think Louisville is going to get exposed. Notre Dame's a very well-balanced team, and Louisville pretty much wants to pass the football. They're pretty good on offense. Defense is average. And I just think that they're going to get exposed this week. And it's a little bit of a gut play if I'm not, if I'm being honest. But also, statistically, you look at it, Notre Dame's a much higher quality team, and I don't think anybody doubts that. I think that the question a lot of people have is, back-to-back emotional wins. Are they going to be up for this game against Louisville? In Louisville, it's a night game. Those sort of factors to me drive that number down to only a 6.5 point favorite. But I think statistically on paper, they're probably a 14 or 14 to 17 point favorite if I'm breaking this down on a neutral field. So for me, I think it's a pretty easy pick. I'm taking Notre Dame in the points.
Wow, you did talk me into it, and that was going to be my play, and I stopped writing, but I'm going to go with that too. Best bet of the week, Notre Dame -6.5. looking at these numbers right here, um, we'll go back to the matchup thought process. I mean, this isn't a very good matchup for Louisville. It doesn't seem. Um, it seems like definitely a matchup in the favor of Notre Dame. I think the only thing that could hold Notre Dame back here is the fact that they've been through some battles. I know they're missing a key player for the first half of this game on defense, and have had some guys banged up a little bit here and there. We need to see the wide receivers get back on track for Notre Dame in this game and get open and score some points. Maybe this is kind of like a neck crack game for Notre Dame after they've been kind of pent up playing some defensive powerhouses the last couple of weeks in Ohio State and Duke. It feels weird to call Duke a defensive powerhouse, but it certainly seems that they are at this point in the season. I like your pick, and so much that I'm going to take that pick as well for Notre Dame to cover this spread.